Welcome back to Echo Ridge in another episode here in our Max Duplicant Duplicity series. We're currently sitting at 129 duplicants at cycle 409, and once again have a lot to do. I'm starting off with sweeping all of this up. We've finished getting rid of all the water that was up here, which is good because that means the next step we can actually tame that cool steam vent, which I did discover a small problem. This is cool steam vent number 3. Number 1 is right here, number 2 is right here, and then we have this little guy which is also numbered cool steam vent number 3. So we actually have 4 cool steam vents on the planetoid, which I think is going to get us up to around 4 to 4.5 spawns worth of water. Luckily for us though, we have plenty of backstock, so it's not going to be for a while before, well, we run out of water and can no longer provide oxygen for our dupes, and hopefully by then we're on the next planetoid. Something often happens to me when I'm sitting there editing a video. I look at some of my designs and plans. Ooh, I do not want to deconstruct everything. Let's just start with buildings, shall we? I look at the designs and the plans I've made and realize, well, I can think of something a little bit better. And I did exactly that the last time I was recording this episode. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of, well, most of this. You'll notice that I'm only deconstructing the left side, and I realized, why am I making this horribly complicated system like this? Why can't I just have an entire row dedicated to gunk, extractors, and bathrooms? So that's what we're gonna do. So it'll be a little bit of a rewind, but don't worry, everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna get it figured out, and I'm hoping to have the duplicants moved in today. Oh, I still gotta make another kitchen too. I had somebody in the comments ask, why am I not putting these duplicants into luxury bedrooms? Well, the primary reason is that luxury barracks and private bedrooms both require 4 tile high rows. And we can't do 4 tile rows. We're shooting for 200 duplicants on this planetoid, and, well, I think it would just take up too much space. And I'm not too concerned about the small increase in morale that a private bedroom or a luxury barracks would provide. Now, while I work on all this, the dupes are going to be sweeping all this up. I need to tame this cool steam vent, and I need to start building the mother of all spawns, because I need a spawn that can supply oxygen to about 90 duplicants. If you figure by looking at the schedule that at any one time, about 1/3 of the duplicants are eating, going to the bathroom, or just sleeping, which means 2/3 of the duplicants are going to be ready for work. Well, 2/3 of our projected 200 duplicants on this colony ends up being around 130. But in the later game, I plan on having a lot of idle dupes, so I don't think I need a full complement of 130 duplicants in suits. Or at least that's the plan. We'll see how that actually ends up in the long run. I suppose it is technically possible. I would just need close to 4 spawns all feeding suits, and the other spawns just providing oxygen for the 70 duplicants sitting in the housing area. The first dupe of the episode is, of course, a bionic dupe, because we can't escape them now. And this Sonyar only has decreased cuisine and agriculture, and they start with an electrical engineering booster. So welcome to the colony duplicate number 130, Cloud System 4. I'm also starting to consider where the initial design for this mega spawn is going to be, and I think it has to be right here. I believe there is enough room. Of course, if I want to keep this as the line, I'd have to go this way, which that means it's only this much room. Or since I'm going to be getting rid of all these barracks, I could put it here. Alternatively, all these barracks are going away, so it could go here. I don't know. The one good thing about it is it will not require any cooling, because we're just going to pump all of the oxygen directly into suits anyways. I am definitely having analysis paralysis this episode. Hopefully that changes soon. So let me do what I always recommend everybody to do. When you're presented with a large problem, just take it one step at a time. One disappointing thing about this new design that I'm going for, which is just to have one entire room on each level, is that it's an even number of tiles across, which means one room is only going to be 13 tiles and a door, and the other one's going to be 14. Unless I make this whole thing smaller by 1 tile in the name of keeping this nice and even. Is it worth it? I think so. Let's do that. The redesign is going okay. we still have some issues to work out, like how many rows of barracks do I put in before I separate them? Do I put all the bathrooms together and all the great halls? Which would seem to me to be a better idea considering they're all going to get their food from one area, at least the normal dupes. And then we could have a giant bathroom complex. Right now, we were able to get 12 barracks per row, which despite my ire, 200 is not divisible by 12 evenly. So we need at least 17 of these rows. 17, which represents every single row we've already put in, with no bathrooms or great halls, or even recreation buildings. And the dupes are having so much fun in the recreation room, so I don't want to deprive them of that. I suppose I could put 8.5 rows and then have a half a row be dedicated to recreation. Okay, I'm sorry, dupes. I will bring back your fun room here soon, but for now it's got to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we can do some general living areas like barracks and mess halls, bathrooms, and then go with 8 more. Yeah, that should work out well. Maybe. I wasn't able to make too much progress before it's time to print out another bionic dupe. I really wish I knew the math behind why it's recommended me so many bionic dupes, because then I could predict how many total bionic dupes we'd have versus how many normal dupes, which would make it a whole lot easier for things like great halls. In this case, we're just going to take a Stella. The decrease in medicine and science shouldn't be too much of an impact. So welcome to duplicate number 131, Burns Szymanski. Each row could hold 27 mess tables. Well, minus a couple because we'd have to put in a party line phone and a plant. So we'll say 25. So based on what we have now, I wouldn't see the reason to have any more than 4, maybe 5 rows of great halls. I think I'm going to put that in the back of my brain for a minute because we still have plenty to do around this area. This whole area is going to be an eventual Somnium synthesizer setup with dupes who never leave this area. All they do is grab their pajamas, sleep, wake up, eat, go back to sleep. Plus, I need to cram a cool steam vent tamer in here, which means I'm going to need another thermal aqua tuner anyways. And maybe by the time I finish all that, I'll figure out what to do with all this. I do like the whole 1 row concept better than the 2 though. Oh no, we're already spitting out seeds. It's too cold up here. 13 degrees? Well, then you get bluff briars up here. So the next step is going to be taming this cool steam vent geyser, and I've got a great place. We're going to squeeze a steam turbine, a thermal aqua tuner, and a thermal regulator right in this little spot. And still have enough room to where I can squeeze the heavy conductive wire in and around this area. It's going to be great. It's going to look good. It's clean. Wait, it can't even be like that, can it? It's going to have to go something like that. Yeah, it's space savings, okay? It doesn't look ugly. Never mind. It just looks too ugly. I can't do it. I just can't. We will put it right in here. And we'll just try to make sure this doesn't get in the way of anything else. It's going to be great. Also in the background, I'm starting the plastic ladder and fire pole dig and build all the way down through here. This is going to be a whole lot of sweeping and everything that's going to need to be done. Suppose I can also just unlock it through here and start digging out. And then we'll have to do the same thing here that we did up here, getting rid of all that polluted water, although there's not too much there, but we'll be able to handle this polluted water while we're at it, and probably this. So maybe I just drop that polluted water in there. And all I'd have to really do is put a floor there. This can get opened up so that polluted water can drop. And then I'll be able to drop all that and continue the spine all the way down. And I suppose every once in a while, I'm going to want to move this over. I'm not going to do too much of it at a time, because, you know, bionic dupes complain when they get a little wet, like old Cost there. We are up to 17.4 megajoules, which represents 145 power banks. Here's the start of what we got going. The thermal aqua tuner is going to be responsible for keeping the cool steam vent tamed. And the thermal regulator is going to be our new deep freezer, although I have no idea where that's going to go because of all my analysis paralysis, so we'll end up seeing. Tell you the truth, I'm probably going to end up moving the now smaller recreation building away and just doing a flat 17 rows. And then the middle, probably somewhere right here, is going to be suits, and maybe the bottom will be all the bathrooms and mess halls? I don't know. Now, one of the complicated things about taming this is there's a lot of oxygen in here. I'm not worried about the temperature of the water, but remember the cool steam vent tamer, just like we did over here, requires a vacuum. So I'm thinking the best way to do that might be just pushing all this water up so it destroys the oxygen, or at least we could corner build it or something. Ooh, suffocating. How are you suffocating way over here? You're sitting in oxygen. Come on, Ruku, help me out. Or I could stop making this a little more difficult than it is and just build in a small liquid lock right here. That looks liquid locky, doesn't it? Maybe if I move this over. There we go. I'll put some liquid in here, and that way I don't have to worry about bionic dupes going swimming quite yet. One day we're not going to have to worry about the bionic dupes getting wet, but today is not that day. Although I'm trying to make a lot of great progress. The question is, am I going to be able to do all this before the cool steam vent comes out of dormancy? I don't know. It's going to be anybody's guess. Here at Cycle 416, it's time to print out, yes, another bionic dupe. This gizmo isn't very good at construction, nor are they very creative, but they start off with a suit training booster. And while the other bionic dupes and the advanced boosters do have a bonus to the athletics, the suit training booster starts off with a +5 to athletics. So welcome to the colony, duplicate number 132, Player Access. Which reminds me, I probably want to make another 99 power banks. You can see that we have a few power bank chargers that are not filled up, although I do not think it's because there's no more empties. We have 86 empty eco power banks somewhere here on the colony. We've done a decent job of coring out the cold biome over here. Now I just need to sweep everything up, get all the ice to one of its appropriate storages, and that way I don't have to worry about it all melting. Next up is going to be this caustic biome, but I think I'm going to start by grabbing all this bleach stone, and that way I can sweep it first without having to worry about everything else. I don't want it to make even more chlorine, but more importantly, we're down to about 2,700 kilos worth of bleach stone. And if you remember, we're using the bleach stone to geotune our cool steam vent here. Now it does last quite a long time, but I'd rather conserve as much of the bleach stone as possible instead of just letting it off gas. Filling this thing up, I may have put a little bit too much water. We have 122 kilos in each tile. Won't be too bad. It'll be about 61 kilos of steam pressure per tile in here. So the steam turbine shouldn't have any problems. And I just realized one small error. I'm going to have to flip these. The thermo sensor will go up there because, as the usual, I have completely forgotten about the liquid vent for the steam turbine. The liquid lock is in and the gas pump is starting to do its job, although there is a tile of oxygen right there. I should be able to squeeze that out. We're going to get some regular dupes in here to start working. In fact, as soon as I dig these out, this water should end up dropping, and the 11 kilos of oxygen in this tile will release over here. And here comes the working party now. All this excess water, we're just going to let drop. I'm building a liquid pump here, and it's going to be forced into this line here. We'll do a 50-50 split with the desalinator. There's always going to be a lot of available water because the desalinator can only work so fast. So this little bit of water shouldn't take too much time. The steam vent tamer is pretty standard. I have a hydro sensor in here. We're going to have it tell the liquid pump you can pump as long as you're above 500 kilos, and the thermo sensor is going to say as long as it's below, say, 30 degrees. Now, depending on what I'm doing with this water, and you'll hear a lot of people say this, you don't necessarily have to cool this if all you're going to do with it is feed it directly to a SPOM. It makes more sense to cool the area that the hot oxygen's going into, and it is definitely more efficient that way. I don't normally do that because on most of my playthroughs, I'm not going to make the assumption that that's all I'm going to do with this water. So I do want to keep it nice and cool. And that way, no matter where I send it, whether it be feeding plants or to SPOM, I can set the thermal threshold to whatever I want. Looks like we do now have a vacuum here, which means I can run some of the liquid pipes. I'm going to need the exit pipe for the water. We'll have it coming out right through here. And then I need the coolant. We'll use what little copper we have left and then have it insulated coming in and out like that. Actually, I'd like to have a little bit more area where we're cooling. So I'm going to have the coolant come out like that. And then the water from the cool steam vent can just come out through there. It'll be great. fact, I can probably even make that a little bit better. I'm gonna have a wall here, so I can bring it in something like here. And there we go. Now all that's left is for me to analyze it, and hopefully this whole place stays a vacuum. Sometimes, I swear. Why would they go in here to build the top on this? That's just inconvenient. Hopefully they don't suffocate. Oh yeah, it looks like they're pretty good construction folks. Now get out please. Any day. Thank you. Let's rebuild that now. Thank you, Hans. Thank you, J-Ray. It wouldn't be a great recording day without just a couple of suffocation messages. Over in our sauna, it looks like I may actually have to add a couple more hydrogen generators because we are backing up in our main line. The overflow system is triggered, and despite that, our main hydrogen spine is backed up. It's not causing any of the spawns any problems yet, but it looks like it definitely has the potential to do so. So whenever I get in here and remake the power bank charger situation with the shipping automation, I'll probably add another power plant of hydrogen generators. Another bionic dupe, and this time we're gonna grab a chip, mostly because we haven't grabbed a chip yet this episode. Yes, they are error prone, which gives them a decreased medicine, but they have an advanced medical booster too. Welcome to the colony, duplicate number 133, Snecky B. So I was smart and remembered to make sure I had the liquid vent down there, and also dumb at the same time because I forgot to put the exhaust pipe. Looks like we're getting back in there once again. I've also managed to core pretty much the entire right side down to this point, which means I can finally move the heavy watt conductive wire out of the way. Eventually I'm gonna have to bring it up here, but I'm not quite sure how to do that. Where is all this water coming from? Oh, it's probably melted ice from somewhere. Well, that's gonna take a little while to fix. But I suppose I can start extending this now. Eventually I'll have to move those power transformers as well, but it's not a big deal for now. It's more just temporary leading to more temporary, but this way I can move this power spine, get it out of the way so I can finish all the remaining barracks. Which, by the way, sorry, you're losing your recreation room again. This is now 17 rows, with each row having 12 cots on it, which the handy dandy calculator tells me is 204 cots. Maybe I should make the last one uneven? Oh, dilemmas, dilemmas. What would you do if this were your colony and you knew you were only going to have 200 duplicants? Let me know in the comments below because this is going to drive me insane. What also drives me insane is trying to make each of these rooms a different drywall because there's something inside of me that says, no, just make them all the same exact color. But now that I've already put all these in, I can't do that. In fact, to be honest, if I wasn't making a video from this colony, they probably all would be one color. That's just who I am. Update on Cool Steam Vent 3, it looks like its next activity isn't for another 46 cycles. Its total dormancy period is about 61 cycles. I don't think I've ever seen one that goes dormant for that long. But its average output is 1596.1. Which so far using Excel tells me that we have enough water for 3.7 spawns, but that is not including Cool Steam Vent 4 or all the water we're generating from the natural gas generators. Oh, look at the Cool Steam Vent 2 is finally erupting again, even though we're having intermittent power problems. Oh, the power problems were not being caused by actual power shortages on the spine, but rather because some irresponsible printing pod ended up chopping this wire. When did I do that? Cycle 422, and it's time for another bionic dupe. This ulti has an extreme digging booster, whereas the other duplicants only have what I've been calling tier 1 boosters. So I think this ulti is gonna be it. So welcome to the colony, JB Ram 2002. That brings us to a total of 10, 20, 30, 38 bionic duplicants out of the 134. Which means we have 96 standard duplicants. I have a feeling the game is going to try to make them even. The good news though is the barracks is finally done. I may not have to build another cot the entire playthrough. Well, I suppose until we get to the next planet over, but this is 204 well decorated and beautiful barracks. We still have some picking up to do. Okay, by some I mean a lot, but you can get an indication of how decent the decor is going to be on this side. Not too shabby. It also looks like we're ready to drop this water here. everything's in place so I can just start bulldozing this area. Our cool steam vent is in. So is our steam turbine and smart battery over here. I'm going to set this smart battery. What do I have all of the steam turbine set on? 90, 70. And we also have a thermo sensor here that can also turn the steam turbine on if it gets above 200 degrees in here. Now for our output, this is the return flow for the water. Notice I put the thermo aqua tuner in backwards. We have to go over there. I don't see a big reason why we can't go through the Somnium synthesizer other than it being ugly. So we'll just go down and up and then go right through. And then it'll return, say, above the Somnium synthesizer. Oh, and I realized I need to make sure that this is also keeping this area cool. So I'll use radiant liquid pipes there. And since I have two bridges going over the same place, I am going to make the bridges horizontal instead. So this is where it's coming out. This is where it's going in. Yeah, just like this. And I still didn't put any radiant pipes there. There we go. That looks pretty nice. Now all I have to worry about is filling the coolant loop. I don't see why we don't use polluted water. And in this case, I'm going to try our new wonderful bottle drainer and just hook it on. Except the bottle drainer does not need to be made out of steel. Get your stuff together, dupes. I will set the coolant temperature to be, let's say, 25 degrees. While I'm in here, I'll set the thermoregulator down to minus 30. Who knows where that kitchen's going to go. But now that we have all the barracks in, I don't see why we don't go recreation room here, and then bathrooms and mess halls with a kitchen in between. Not bad, maybe. And now I'm going to go ahead and gut the rest of this all the way down. Ooh, oh, I guess it's because I did rows of 7 there. All the way down into the slime biome. All I have to do is wait for all this water to pump and we're good. Time to get some more bionic dupes wet. Slowly pushing it over. I'm going to get it as far over as I can and then put a row of insulated tile probably right here. So they won't be the exact same size. It'll cut off a few tiles there, but just enough so that brine geyser can still go, probably something like that. But we still have plenty of water to push over. All these ladders are going to be going away anyways. They're just temporary scaffolding ladders because we're putting mess halls and bathrooms and everything else here. Now with the new bottle drainer, it also has the enable auto bottle, just like the bottle emptier. We're going to select polluted water, and then I'm surely not going to forget about that. Speaking of which, we still have a massive amount of polluted water. Us backstocking all of our water stores is really going to help sustain the colony. Eventually, they would use all these tanks, and because we don't have enough water sources to support all of our spawns, it would spell trouble. But we have, what, 5 spawns right now? And only enough water sources for about, what I'm guessing, 4 to 4.5. Slow but steady. I have a perplexing situation here. Moving the spine and these transformers over, I still have a couple of things that need to be connected to the spine, namely these 2 steam turbines. Not to mention our new steam turbine for our thermal aqua tuner for the new cool steam vent, but it's just ran haphazardly throughout the colony. I'm kind of trying to avoid all that. At least we got the transformers moved. That's not a big deal anymore. Suppose eventually it's going to go around, but I'm still going to have to poke it into the middle of the colony unless I feel like moving all this stuff, which, as you all know, I don't. Now, the water from this cool steam vent is going to hook into this line here. In fact, we got one right here that'll work. Don't love all of the different runs all over the place, but it is what it is. I'll probably redirect these 2 and that cool steam vent eventually for that mega spawn, which I guess is going to have to happen next episode because I still have to drain all of this. We're almost done pushing all this over, which that's good. Then we can be able to get into here, further down. Oh, I suppose while I'm just chilling, I can drop all of this water right here and core this from the inside. I also wanted to talk a little bit about this power spine. There were a lot of folks who've recommended in the comments, Echo, why don't you just put a wall here? And it's a good strategy. The reason why I don't is because I'm always adding new transformers. So unless you have another ladder run or spine that goes on the inside of this, it wouldn't really work in this use case. As such, most of our ladder run And all of our fire pole doesn't ever see the decor. The only time it does is this one little piece of heavy wire right here extends over into this tile. But you'll notice down here where there is no power transformers, it doesn't extend all the way over there. What I could probably also do is flip these so it ends up on the other side, which I might end up doing here soon. Most of these transformers are no longer being used, and it would help protect this spine. And I completely forgot about the coolant line, so let me undo this. Get rid of that guy. I suppose I'm gonna have to plumb, because I'm always forgetting about this. Another cycle, another dupe, and we are gonna grab this Sonyars because they have the advanced medical booster, which means they can help make gear balm. The only negatives are everything to do with food, decreased cuisine, and decreased agriculture. Welcome to the colony duplicant number 135, Uncreative Toast. I think I siphoned a few too many out of the pipe because I have too much going on. One day I'll just sit there and pay attention, but this loop will work just fine. Right now it's got a lot to cool down. All of this water is sitting at 47 degrees, so it is actually a good thing that we have dormancy for another 42 cycles. In fact, this whole area is a little bit warm. Eventually it'll start cooling down now that we've got rid of that caustic biome. Plus we have some radiant liquid pipes here. And since there's no heat sources in this area, these radiant liquid pipes will eventually extend their chill all throughout here. I guess there's a little bit of heat coming from the large power transformer, no big deal. I just realized I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with this carbon dioxide geyser too. In an effort to preserve the island, it's not really lining up with our master plan, so we're still gonna preserve the island. It's just gonna be a bunch of natural tiles, because I don't like the way that looks. Uh-oh, there's a tile right here. Maybe I can just conserve the island smaller. Something like this? Oh, doesn't that look nice? No complaints now. Oh, that sand's gonna be problematic. Oh, how do I fix that? The problem is, if I put up tile here, as soon as the algae's deconstructed, that sand's gonna drop. Oh, they're leaving debris in there. Oh, now we have to get in the island. This is what I'm saying. We have so much going on, and the dupes keep making mistakes. Leave the grub fruit seeds. The island must remain as preserved as possible. I tell you what though, isn't the only part actually the island, this little thing right here? So why can't I just do this? Yeah, that'll be fine. People aren't gonna complain. I mean, when's the last time you've seen somebody complain on YouTube? Update on the sauna, I am gonna have to add more hydrogen generators. This one is completely backed up. And I should have known this because normally each spawn generates a little bit more hydrogen in excess than one hydrogen generator can use. So I'm just gonna move some of these power banks up here. Easy peasy. And this will give me a little bit of room in here. I guess I'm gonna have to move 2 rows. Wasn't planning on doing this today, game. Thanks. Thanks for nothing. I suppose we do have the spine in here now. Oh, I have a silly door there. I guess it's coming through here, so I can just connect it right by this line. No, that's trash too. I tell you what, I have more to do today than just work on hydrogen generators and this sauna. So I am gonna temporarily connect it just like this. No big deal. And before I can continue, we have another bionic dupe to print. Oh, a suit training booster, and they just have decreased excavation and decreased machinery. They both have the same bionic bug, but I like the suit training booster, as you know. Sorry, Skamansky, you're not getting printed twice. Welcome to duplicant number 136, Daphne. While I'm waiting on the duplicants, adding a few more hydrogen generators, it's time to kick some duplicants out of here. And the reason why is because, well, they can't breathe over here. Since I've repiped a lot of the oxygen going towards our barracks up here, it's critical that I actually have them, you know, living over there. Ooh, I forgot to run here. And I suppose the best way to do that is just start deconstructing cots, and it'll force them to move. I'm not going to do them all right now because it is a further run distance, but it's a good start. On the good news, we have managed to preserve the island. I even have a nice viewing window. No, there's no viewing window over here because, well, there's already another wall there. I've also put all the power transformers on the right-hand side. That's the last one to deconstruct. And I'm probably going to start the process of getting rid of all the plastic ladders that reach into the neutronium for nothing. Because every time you do this, you actually end up saving a little bit on the simulation trying to calculate where a dupe can move. What I mean by that is if I click on Deox and click Show Navigation, notice they can go all through these ladders. Well, when I remove the ladders, it's a few less tiles that their movement algorithm has to figure out. It's a very slow process though, so don't expect any updates anytime soon. Aw, Renate is actually sleeping in the new barracks. They may have been the first one. Oh, wait a minute. We also have Lexer sleeping in here. Now the disadvantage of doing a mass move like this is I'm not exactly sure who's the loud sleepers. So if a dupe ends up next to them, they're not going to be getting any good sleep. Also, there's some dupes that are afraid of the dark, and eventually I'm going to have to add some lights, but I have to find out who they are first. And no, I am not clicking on every single dupe. That's not happening. I was able to add another power plant with 2 hydrogen generators. It siphons off even before the overflow does. When we redo the sauna's interior, I'll end up fixing that as well. But it's not really a big deal considering they're all on the same automation network. But for cleanliness, I'd still rather have the overflow sensor being before any of the hydrogen generators. Of course, there's a little bit of chaos. We're about to overheat the thermal aqua tuner. The thermal regulator is already overheating because there's 61 kilos worth of steam at 300 degrees. Why? Because Echo forgot to finish off the coolant line. That is 3 separate times I have forgotten 3 separate things on this steam turbine. We need to get that done quickly, please. It's fine if it overheats a little bit and the damaged meter of shame will just appear for the rest of the colony. As long as it doesn't break, we're fine with it. Oh boy, it's time for another dupe. Shocker, it's a bionic dupe. This time we're going to take the Stela because their bionic bug is pretty good and they have the electrical engineering boosters so we can do more NG's tune-ups. And no, I'm not making this up. Welcome to duplicate number 137 and thank you for the support to the channel. Yo Mama Smells 69. Look, you write them, I read them. Thank you, Yo Mama, for the chuckle. The next phase of what I'm considering the condominium build has added 2 recreation rooms. The top one having jukeboxes, the bottom one having arcade cabinets, complete with fancy arcade drywall. All said and done, we'll have 12 party line phones plus the phones that we end up putting in the great halls. So that's a pretty good amount of recreation for the dupes. Next up is the bathrooms. We have 3 standard bathrooms for regular dupes, and then we'll have 3 gunk extractor bathrooms. Ooh, nope. Disable it. Disable it. You will not use my bleach stone. Now this room here is going to take care of all the plumbing from the bathrooms, and this room here is going to take care of the plumbing from the gunk extractors. Isn't that a much cleaner design than we had last time? I did get in here at the steam turbine just in time before the regulator broke, so that's a good thing. Maybe next time I won't forget to hook up the exhaust for the steam turbine. I mean, look how nice this is gonna look. So much better. I have ran into a problem down here at the gunk extractors though. Because this tile is blocking this carbon dioxide geyser from being able to erupt, our dupes can't get past it. This is really a bummer. I don't know if I want to just use 1 bottle filler. Suppose I can though. I'm gonna get in here to make sure everything looks good. Get everything deconstructed from coming over on this side. And then I suppose what I can do is also put in a buffer tank. And what the buffer tank's gonna do is allow for a overflow of gunk in case the bottle in here is full. If it is, it'll overflow into the buffer tank, and then just as soon as the bottle filler has capacity, because someone's came and taken a bottle out of it, it'll start draining back into it. At least that's the theory. Who knows if this wonkiness will work. The liquid filter up here is once again set to make sure that there is no gunk. I need a bridge right here for our freshwater overflow. Any excess water that we have from the bathroom system is going to head down here. And in order to charge the whole system, I'm just going to grab the bottle drainer once again, handy dandy, and then just pipe it right in. The whole system is connected. Outputs all head up and then over into the liquid filter, then sends it to the water sieve, and then back out as clean water to the bathroom. If there's too much, it overflows this bridge and heads down into the oxygen supply. Oh, look at that. That's a lot better looking. I think Belt-Fed Joe was the first one to play some video games. And next up is Hell's Bells. It's incredible to me that they only get a morale of +3 for playing the video game. considering the power cost is even more than the jukebox at 1200 watts. I guess they only get a +2 to morale for dancing, and then a +3 for playing the video games. But if you consider you get a +2 morale for talking to at least one duplicant on the party line phone, and its power cost is only 120, I mean, that's not too bad. And we're always going to have somebody on the phone in this colony. Grace is using the gunk extractor. I just want to make sure the gunk is flowing correctly. I'm not even sure if this buffer tank system is necessary, because as soon as the bottle filler is filled with 200 kilos worth of gunk, they're going to take it and make more gear balm out of it. So I'll have to update you later on how effective this system is. We dropped off one bottle of water. That should be just fine. I can deconstruct this, and then as soon as a duplicant uses this, they will flush it. The polluted water is going to make its way around, and then it'll slowly start to fill in all of the sinks and lavatories. I suppose I should put something nice here in the middle of the bathrooms, huh? How about a nice potty plant? Who doesn't like a plant in the potties? This is taking entirely too long for all this excess water, so I think the easiest way to actually get it to go in is to send it into the return flow to the water sieve, and then it will distribute it. Remember, clean water can go through a water sieve just fine. Here we go, that's flowing a lot better. And now the bathrooms will have plenty of water to get started, which they already kind of have, and it's time to print another dupe. Come on, I want a snazzier red suit. Not this time, I guess. Now that I'm thinking of it, what have we printed? This is going to be our 9th dupe, which means I've recorded for entirely too long. I really hope I don't have to separate this into 2 episodes. Armed with the bionic bug of rigid thinking and an advanced medical booster, welcome to duplicant number 138, Shabir Hussein. During the course of this episode, we've managed to break the 3 million calorie count. I'm hoping that keeps rising as almost all of our Dreco ranches are becoming more and more populated, and it's not like we're printing more regular dupes. We also have 220 eco power banks ready and charged to go. I hope you've enjoyed the progress we've made in the past couple episodes. Next episode is gonna have to be the kitchen, all the mess halls, the suit entrance and exits, and that mega spam. So that's gonna be a lot to accomplish in one episode. I hope you're looking forward to that and are still enjoying this series. And where did this water come from? Come on, people! So until next time, much love, happy gaming, and I'll talk to you soon.